Okay, good evening, or good day, or whatever it is that you're listening to this. My name is Craig Blanchette, and I am a certified optimal health coach. And this is our what we call TSFL University. And so TSFL stands for Take Shape for
Life.
Life. Exactly. You can take shape for a minute, you can take shape for a wedding, or you can take shape for life, right? And that's what our program is actually based around. And so we are going to what we call Take Shape for Life University. And so we're studying Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health book. Many of us are coaches, but not all of us. And ultimately, even though we might be a health coach, everyone is still a client or a student of health. And so that's what we're doing here for the next 24 weeks. We're going to be going through one chapter of this book every week. So you are encouraged and welcome to read along or read ahead, and then bring like your highlights so we can discuss those each week. So
Craig, can you restate that cute little catchphrase about Take Shape for Life?
Sure. Take shape for life. Well, when sometimes, and here's why I say it that way. Sometimes when you say a name of a company, you don't realize that there's actually meaning to the name. And with Take Shape for Life, it's take shape for life, right? And so it's not take shape for a minute or a month or a wedding, but we want to take shape for life. And so what we're doing is we're learning to practice healthy habits. And the more we practice, the healthier we become. And one of the things that I heard someone say, if you're not as healthy as you want to be, it's not because you're a loser. It's because you just haven't learned enough habits of health, or you're not practicing them. So the cool thing is that we're all the same. We can learn some habits and we can practice them. And so that's what we're here doing tonight, is we're talking about chapter 24, which is called Ultimate Energy Control. And so this is talking really about, it's another term for this is called ultra health. And it's where you're really, really tweaking your fitness levels to a high level, and working on sort of all of the habits of health, but kind of to a high level. And what I find about this is I start with working out with many people, and I'm a professional athlete. I've been a professional athlete since 1986. And so I've raced all around the world, and I've competed in the Olympics. I won a medal in the Olympics, and then I set 21 world records. So I have a really strong focus on very, very high level athletics. And I work with a lot of people that are just trying to get into a pair of pants, or they're trying to just lose some weight. And when they start to do that and they start to uncover like this new body, exercise starts to not be torture, but it starts to be entertainment. And that's a really good thing. People that try to lose their weight through exercise end up viewing exercise as torture. And sometimes they end up hurting themselves. And so my point to all this is sometimes people actually really start to enjoy their body and want to do more high-level fitness. And so this chapter is where we can go, that we don't just offer the weight loss or the basic fitness program. You can get into some of these higher-level ultra health categories. So first of all, the other thing too, at Ultra Health, it talks about longevity. And so really extending the quality and quantity of your life through things that we have control over, which is what we eat and how we sleep and the water and things like that. So I want to toss this out to you guys and have this be a roundtable discussion of something that maybe stood out. We'll just go kind of section by section. So we have the intro. We have a little bit about when Dr. A recommends that we go consider an ultra health longevity program. Anybody have anything that hopped out or jumped out to them on that?
I was kind of surprised by, the middle of the page, that first page that said for the longevity plan to decrease your calories by 15% and that underfeeding the body, was conducive to health and longevity.
Yeah.
Of course, that's with nutrient-rich food or
Yeah.
dense food. But
Yeah, because you still need your nutrients, even though you're under energy, a little bit less energy than what keeps you equal. Why do you think? Let's talk about that idea. Why do you think that's good for the body, or that would promote ultra health? Anybody have any ideas there?
Are you in the middle? No.
I got
It would
nothing.
be BMI.
What?
Equally.
Mary, you got nothing. Debbie, you think so? It would be getting you down to an ultra low BMI possibly, but I don't think it's just about reducing calories to lose weight. I think it's something more than that.
I think it has to do with the nutrient-dense foods.
Yeah, so it's less calories than your body would need, but still all the nutrients that it needs. True. Yeah.
So when you put the two of those together,
keep burning efficiently.
So we're going to go Adrian and then Gigi.
all right, when you put the two of them together, you're putting your body in a place where the body is burning the caloric intake needed with the nutrient-dense food, which means that your body is no longer storing anything that it specifically needs, but it's working at its highest level.
Wow. I think that sounds great. How about you, Gigi?
That's pretty much what I was going to say, that I think that your body becomes the most efficient at burning. And so there's nothing stored.
Yeah. One of the things that when I read this, my idea was when the body is in a situation where it struggles a little bit, it's sort of struggling to it's not struggling deeply, but it's just almost, it's like you're constantly giving your body work. And like exercise, it makes you grow stronger. And so I was thinking that if we're almost getting enough calories, then our body's constantly sort of striving and working, and it keeps you in a constant state of kind of growth. But it's just a guess. I think a lot of these ideas were really good. Cora raised her hand. Look at that. Cora, you're up.
I'm so obedient.
Yeah.
No, I like the way they brought out the Okinawans, because I've heard that for years, that the Okinawans have been very much studied because there are so many that live into their hundreds. And they think that the main reason that there's so many of them live into their hundreds is because their calories, the amount of calories that they take in every day is so low. It's really not even, it's less than even half of what an American would take in for the day.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And I'm sure that's where they got the information from. So next thing, we talk a little bit about C-reactive proteins. So this is on page 300, and eating and adjusting your daily intake. They have some calculations here on how you can figure those things out. But one of the things, it says at the bottom there, currently this patient is consuming and expending approximately 2,400 calories per day through her new active lifestyle and has remained at a stable BMI of 24 for the past 2 years. Her blood chemistry is normal, including her glucose and her HSCRP. That's a lipid profile within normal range. And so when we get our C-reactive proteins, our CRP levels down, we get to this, that's our inflammation levels. They get down below 1 or below 0.5 is when you really find that kind of sweet spot. And I believe, I don't know if this is, but I think that might be talking actually about Lisa Castro, because she's one that's flirting around with this ultra health and super. I think she's 0.3 in her C-reactive protein levels.
I had a question about this, Greg.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you, but so I'm working on this part right now, and it's a lot of math for me. So I'll need a special side class at some point. But also, I was looking at it, and I was surprised that it said that you for 6 months, that like he had said to have 6 months to a year or two of holding it there before moving into this stage. And so I'm wondering why. I mean, is it just because to make sure that you're steady in your habits, or?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Comments from the peanut gallery, the healthy soy nut gallery.
Soy nut gallery.
Thank you, Cora. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, that was funny.
Yeah. So any comment or anybody have any ideas?
I would think it's just part of it is you have your nutrition. Sorry that I'm leaning back. We have your nutrition dialed in, so it's not just that we're maintaining weight, but we're maintaining it through the our nutrition as far as proper protein, calories, and getting all of the vitamins and minerals that we can from the whole foods.
Yeah. And I think that's too. My guess is it's a psychological thing, and this is my guess. Because some people will look at doing these kinds of things, and they may have had issues with dieting in the past and starving themselves. And so,
Exactly what I was going to say.
yeah. So this is only my guess, but that's what I would say is just to be careful that you've 2 years at maintaining your healthy weight, and you probably have some significant foundational things there. So when you do kind of tweak into this zone, you don't go to extremes or starvation things and stuff like that again. But again,
Craig?
If I can.
yeah. Who's that, Debbie? Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
It was Debbie and Adrian.
Well, I was just gonna say I like the part that he mentions about the fact in the program about making sure that you don't have a history of an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the waiting, is to make sure people get really excited, and they're, and somebody that might have, like what you were saying, a psychological issue, disorder or something like that will take this to the extreme. They'll go through, lose all their weight, and then go right into trying to get into this ultra health. And so I like that he just mentioned that.
Got it.
I was going to add, Craig, is I think it's the exact same thing on the other end. So it's yo-yo dieting. When you hop in and out of this habit of ultra health, you're putting your body into a stress level that isn't healthy for it. And so, I mean, I've done that on both ends. I've been at the unhealthy weight of binge eating and then exercising too much, and the stress it puts on the body is just as bad as the stress that one might have because they're overeating and then maybe not eating enough calories to compensate for their bad habits.
Somebody here all the time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing that with us. So let's move over to the 6 options to boost your EAT resistance workouts. So EAT is an acronym for exercise activity thermogenesis. So he has NEAT, or non-exercise activities, and then he has structured exercise activities. So one's NEAT. When you hear people they say NEAT points, basically there's this 6 S's: stance, samba, stairs, stroll, all these different, there's these 6 S's of things that you can do to burn calories when you're not having structured exercise. And so that's what NEAT points are. And this is about EAT resistance. So increasing the repetitions, he talks about that. Increasing the resistance, obviously, is another one. And let's see here.
I said, were you there? You said yes. Well, I saw the thing that said garments, and I touched it, but they didn't show me any garments.
Somebody is chatting, but I will figure that out.
I think it's Shelly.
It is Shelly. Oh my.
She's mute now.
Yeah, I muted her. Yep, we're good. So we got increased repetitions, increased resistance, increased sets or rotations, obviously decreasing the recovery time. That's one of the things that Cora got to do. By the way, I did talk with Cora a little bit about after I didn't realize she was on the 5 and 1. And so after we did this pretty killer workout intervals, I was like, you need to do a 6 and 1 today. She's like, okay. Because we were doing intervals are a really great way to get heart exercise in a short period of time. And so we did 30 seconds sprint with 30-second rest, then a minute sprint with a minute rest, and then 2-minute sprint with 2-minute rest. And then we did 5 of those. And so it was pretty killer, and it was pretty fun. I always prefer to do intervals because you can go really hard, and then you have a rest versus just kind of going hard the whole time. It's a lot different. So that would be decrease your recovery time. So that would be the interval in between your hard intervals. We talked actually on Monday about recovery, heart rate, and anaerobic respiration. And we sort of had a little health class while we were working out, which was fun. And so I invite you to come work out with us if you'd like. And then maintaining muscular contraction. Does people know what that means? I mean, I guess it tells you there, but anybody have experience with that?
When I was doing the weight training classes and everything else, it's not going all the way out to the end of your joints. It's keeping the contraction, and it's doing like a half bench or 3/4 of a bench, and not just keeping the muscles contracted the entire time on the expansion and the contraction. So it ends up actually killing you. It's really tough.
Yeah.
But what it does, I've never been so sore after doing those kind of workouts ever.
Yeah. Thank you, John. That's exactly what it means. When I've done, I do these things with my clients when they're first starting out, like a workout program, is I'll have them do, I call them 10-10-10s. And so it's 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups or planks, and then 10 squats. And if you can't do 10, do 5. But you do it every morning. You wake up, go to the bathroom, you do your 10s. And that way you don't need a gym, you don't need anything, but you just sort of, that's like this maintenance thing that you just do. And once you can do 10 fast, then do 10 at half speed. So you do a push-up at half speed, you go down and then back up half speed, and that's like all of a sudden you don't need a lot of heavy weights. You just slow everything down and things get heavy. So there's a little option for working out there. And so he talks about, on page 304, talks about some different types of intervals. Those generally Monday mornings, we do interval workouts of some sort. So this is basically explaining all about what we were doing on Monday. 60% of your heart rate, 70%, 80%. We were trying to hit 150. Of course, depending on how strong your heart is, here's actually some stuff that's not in the book, but I'll just share it with you. The stronger your heart gets, the more blood it can pump with each stroke, right? It's called stroke volume. And also the quicker, the more efficient your body, it becomes more efficient as you exercise. And so like my heart rate would get up to 150, 155 during our sprinting phase. And then I wait until it gets down to 110, and then we go again, right? And so what you want to see is your heart rate go from like your high to down around a 110, which is kind of resting, and if you can get there in 30 seconds, that's good, like, right? And so when you're doing exercises and intervals, you can actually wait until your heart rate gets to 110 and time the interval for the rest phase. And then as you do those workouts over time, you'll notice that rest phase gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And that means that's the training effect. And so that means you're getting into shape. Your heart's getting stronger and it's getting more efficient and your body is recovering quicker. And the reason why this is good for racing is if you're in a race with somebody and they sprint and you're able to sprint with them, and then maybe you get to the they back off and they're still recovering and you recover in half the time, you can then sprint again and break away. Or on the at the top of an uphill or something like that, you can recover quicker after a really strong uphill, and so you can keep going quicker, faster than them. And so it's all about who can recover the fastest. And then there's something else called anaerobic threshold. which we won't go into, but that's another thing that's kind of fun, where you can actually increase your threshold of where your body can process lactic acid and oxygen. We won't get into the ATP and all that stuff because it gets really technical. But if you want to see something fun, Google ATP respiration, and there's some fun podcasts on that if you're interested. So any other stuff that you guys wanted to talk about here? We're right about the top of the hour, and so we're just finishing up for this. I think on page 305 is a nice little chart there where you can have some ideas of what to do. So he has NEAT and EAT both in there. Cora, you're up.
Yeah. Oh, I just had a question as I was studying through this, and I did all the numbers and everything. Actually, I didn't have to because the example in there was almost close to where I am. Anyway,
nice.
But when I started looking at it, okay, so at this point, you are actually expending more calories than you're taking in. How do you not, slowly, I'm sure, but how do you not lose weight? How do you, like at that point, you're wanting to maintain your weight. So how do you, wouldn't that put you into that mode where you would slowly losing weight?
You're already at a pretty lean body mass, so you don't have a lot of weight to burn, and you're only like, what do you say, 10 to 15% less than what you need. So it's not a huge caloric deficit.
Okay.
Right.
So it's not enough that you're gonna.
No.
And if you have maybe a piece of cheesecake once in a while,
well,
kidding.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in this ultra health kind of thing, literally this kind of area is looking at your body kind of like a machine, and you're watching, you're taking into account everything that goes into your mouth, because it becomes part of you.
Okay.
Like any artificial things that you drink or eat that may taste good, once it gets past your tongue, it's now going to be integrated into the fabric of who you are. And so when you think about that, I don't know, I was just thinking about that this week, that I can eat stuff that tastes good that I know is not good for me. And once it gets past my tongue, now I've got to incorporate it into my body, into me, where I live. And I was just really thinking about that. Like, why would I mean, who cares how great this tastes? This has to become part of me. Like, do I want that to be part of me? I don't know. It was just a thought about what I put in my mouth, and really considering not just the flavor, but that it's actually, you are what you eat. I mean, you've heard that term. So anyway, awesome, guys. Well, good job with the chapter tonight. I hope this has been enjoyable for you to go through this. I know reading this book is enjoyable, and you get certain things out of it by just reading it. But I think that when we go this together and we have discussion, the book comes alive. And I love to share my insights and my history, and I love to hear yours. And I think it just helps us all. So next week, chapter 23, the habits of longevity. So technically, this is the precursor to the chapter we just read. So we're kind of going about this in a weird way, but you guys can handle it. So that's going to conclude. Do anybody have a comment, or is this working for you? Are you benefiting from this? And what's that look like? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. The first time I read the book full the way through was when I did it with you guys. I just want to say that. So that's why we're doing it. I mean, I read a lot of it by myself, but I didn't get through all of it until I did it with a group. And so that was the big difference for me. And then here's a comment. Next week on the huddle, you know how we're in a big room with people, and they say, everybody that's lost 10 pounds or more, stand up, 20 pounds or more, stand up, 30 pounds, or it's not 30 pounds or more, it's 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40, and they go up. And then I don't know how they do it. They do something like that. You know what I'm talking about. But what I want to do on the call here is have people kind of raise their hands. If you've been able to lose 10 pounds, stand up. If you've been able to lose 20 or more pounds, stand up, 30 or more pounds, 40 or more pounds. And I think they go the other way. If you lost 40 or pounds, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, we'll do that next week because tonight there was a few people that were on there for the first time. And when someone said they lost 100 pounds, the person smiled like it seemed like it became real. Like they've got some like people that have really done some big deal things on here. And I know Kim's lost 120 or 30 pounds. So there's some people here that are have lost significant amount of weight, and then of course, more importantly, have kept it off. So comment, Martin. You're on mute, by the way.
That was just anticipation, so you guys could sit up and see if you could hear me.
Oh, that's good. Appreciate that.
Like that. No, I have a client who just started last week, so her first full week on program. She had purchased some new slacks in December that didn't fit. And so after her first full week on program, none of her clothes fit. So she thought she would try those slacks that she purchased in December that didn't fit. And so she put them on and they don't fit.
Because now they're too big?
Now they're too big.
That happens. I've heard that.
15 pounds in week 1.
Wow. You know, for those of you that know, thank you for sharing that story. Mickey Lou, you guys, some of you know Mickey Lou. She has a Bible study on Tuesday night, so she hasn't been able to be here, but she's now down 78 pounds. And she said, one thing about the scale it doesn't lie, right? It always tells the truth. And it's been telling the truth, and she's loving the truth that it's been telling her because she's working her program, and it tells her, and she steps off and she steps back on, steps back on. Oh man, I really have lost that weight, like really. And then she went clothes shopping and she kept looking at the tag. Like she said she bought a pair of 6s. She started at a 20, just so you know. And she goes, the 6s I wouldn't wear in public yet. So I can comfortably wear an 8. But the 6s, I got them buttoned and zipped. And she goes, and one day they will fit me. And I was just like, Mickey Lou, what's up? Good job. So anyway, I just shared that story with you because it inspired me today, and she's getting it that it's the weight loss is real, and the life change is life changing. It's intoxicating in so many ways. So,
Wait, I have a question.
Yes, hi Jenny.
For people that do have a lot of weight, like over 100 pounds to lose, do they start out on the 5-in-1 just like the same amount of or small amount of calories as others? Wow.
This is a perfect question, and I love this question. So put your listening ears on. Everybody have their listening ears?
I do have a follow-up question after your answer too.
That was for you, Dawn, because she's a grade school teacher. Here's the benefit. Or here's not the benefit, here's the reality of how the science works. If you're 300 pounds overweight or 50 pounds overweight, you still eat the same amount of calories, but you definitely are not burning the same amount of calories. What that works is the 5-in-1 is designed as a catalyst to create a special type of environment. So it's sort of like a key that unlocks all this energy. It's not the energy. It's the key to unlock the energy. And so the 5-in-1 creates that unique environment that turns your liver into a fat processing plant. And so it takes as many calories as it needs and it processes them into energy. So even though you're only eating outside your body about 900 calories, you're getting about 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. Guess where the difference is coming from?
Your liver.
Yeah, it's coming from the fat that you're burning. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So I know clients that'll burn a pound, they'll lose a pound a day. So that's 3,500 calories plus the 1,000 that they're eating. So they're actually burning about 4,500 calories that day. So that's why this is not a low-calorie diet. And they're getting all the nutrients that they need to not be malnourished. Because even though you're only eating 800 or 900 calories from outside your body, the 5-in-1 has enough nutrients of a 2,500 calorie a day diet. So you're getting all the nutrients you need, and you're getting just the right kind of calories to unlock those fat stores. And that is the genius of the science behind our program.
Wow. So my follow-up is what I'm talking about, my husband, that I'm trying to get going on this, but he also is prone to gout. And so I saw that there's some altering you can do to that one.
Yeah. So because of the high content of the protein on our diet, gout is a uric acid thing, and it often happens from having lots of protein. And so we have a special guide that's called the Gout Guide, and it has a couple modifications that you will make to prevent that uric acid from building up. And usually it is a 4 and 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So 4 and 2 is still a fat burning state, but it's not. It doesn't quite metabolize as much fat because you're getting a few more calories, but it still is technically fat burning, which means your liver is empty and you're burning fat for fuel.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the great question. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop the recording, and I won't kick you